Everyone wants to go to themixisalmostperfect.com, and Frankie, you're a production engineer as well. Frankie's a pretty awesome DJ. Frankie, what website? What website put it on so everyone knows where to go?
You can find me pretty much anywhere at Slytune. That's Slytune. So SoundCloud, Apple Music, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you can think of, you can find me pretty much.
Awesome. So what are you going to be showing themixisalmostperfect.com?
Well, I just wanted to go over some of my favorite plugins, and I don't think there's a lot of people who do videos on kind of strange plugins or stuff that's not has a whole lot of practical use all the time.
Sure.
But I think that these are some hidden gems that people should check out. So.
And are these plugins directly through Ableton, or can they be used?
No, most are third-party plugins. There are a few Ableton plugins in here. Yes. There's a mix of Sonic Charge, Isotope, Ableton, and Native Instruments plugins, I believe.
Well, when we are done, make sure you give me a list of them. I'll make sure I put all those plugins in and exactly where they are. Okay.
All right. Cool.
Sweet.
So one of the first ones I was going to show you is, let me find the channel I had it on. Sound Toys Bundle, which I think is pretty widely known at this point. When I first started using Ableton, Sound Toys was definitely a hidden gem, but this mix rack is definitely one of the top choices when grabbing plugins.
Yeah, it definitely looks. I mean, you know what? There's nothing better than a piece of gear that looks rackable. I love that. I love those looks. You know,
yeah.
They did such a good job with how like equipment looks. It just feels like it's analog, and I love that about some of this new software that's coming out.
Have you used this Sound Toys Bundle at all?
I have not. I would love to. I'd love to check it out. Which I'm actually excited that you're showing me some of this. This is good, great, actually.
So I will turn it off for a second, and I just have this simple. I think it's a hi-hat line on here. Super simple.
Sure.
But what I have on there is a pan man and a micro shift, and you can see when you turn it on, it just gives the whole thing a lot more life. Kind of walks it around. This is kind of walking it around to the beat, and then you have this, which is a stereo spread, basically.
Oh, cool.
Probably be hard to hear that unless you got like headphones on, but
definitely hear it.
Of that rack going on other places here, such as here. And by the way, if anyone doesn't know what I'm doing right now is I keep a lot of the stuff that I have a lot of processing on frozen. It basically kind of temporarily renders it to audio, which saves on your CPU load there. So
that's good. And you know what? I'm going to actually switch to headphones so then I don't destroy any of this audio. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. That should work. Perfect. You can still hear me, Frankie, right?
Yes, sir. These are just some chords here.
I guess not, Frankie. There. I guess I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh well, it's not a big deal.
I don't think you're going to destroy anything too much, really. I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay.
Good roll. So these are just some chords. Again, I got the rack on here, double lock. This is a distortion plugin. Micro shift, that's the spreader again. Decapitator, that's another distortion plugin.
Sweet.
This is by far one of the best distortion plugins I've ever used. it's kind of hard to explain, but it's got such a nice actual vintage crunchy sound to it that I haven't really heard in any other plugins that try to emulate this type of stuff, except for maybe UA. UA always does a good job with those.
Indeed.
But we crunch this up for a minute. Maybe kind of hear that a little bit.
Let's see.
But I like to add just a lot of layers of light distortion,
I love it.
spreading, that kind of stuff.
Sounds awesome.
Another one I use a lot is Pro-Q FabFilter. It's probably my favorite equalizer here. Just because it's got, before Ableton had a 8-band EQ with a built-in analyzer, this was like what I was using, so it just kind of stuck with me. Okay,
cool.
So always love that.
Yeah, I love the sound. You know what? Now, can you show us what that sounds just with that on it right now? Is that what you have on, right? Correct?
With the effect rack off?
No, just yeah. Let's show the difference and the with and without it.
So that's without, and then with the effect rack.
Oh, it's so much.
Some warmth and a little like wobble in there with that's part of the it's kind of the action on the decapitator that does that too a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. It has a really nice warm, tone to it. Yeah.
And then just the filter. I just was cleaning up the low end on that, and there was a bit of a problem in there in 250. So, and then a lot of the sounds that I use actually come from the Beast here, which a lot of people probably know this plugin. There's a part 2 out right now, but I really like the original just as good, honestly. There's a lot of really good classic sounds in here. I love the Rhodes all day long in those.
Love it.
That's Omnisphere, by the way, which...
Is it one of your favorites?
Definitely one of my favorites. You can see quite a few throughout here.
Pretty expensive, or is it pretty priced?
It's about $500, I believe.
Just for that plugin, but it's definitely worth it, you feel? Yeah,
it's got massive libraries and just about every instrument you can think of, and it's all sampled very well. A lot of it's sample based.
Okay.
And then there's also, it has a really deep synthesizer too, and there's no limitations I've found with that either, really.
Yeah, cool. So, what made you choose, by the way, Ableton?
That's something that people ask a lot, and for the majority of people that use Ableton, I would say they would tell you that it's more creative than other DAWs.
Sure.
I would tend to agree, but a lot of people think that Ableton is much more flexible as well, and I would say that it does have certain limitations as far as routing things the way you want to, and
it's more of a production, like everything's already recorded, and you're pretty much, for the most part, doing already pre-recorded stuff that you've done. Maybe you've done it in Photoshop. Sorry, guys, I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's been a long day. I've done a lot of recording. Pro Tools.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if I was going to record vocals or something, I would probably prefer to do it in Pro Tools. But for production, it's got a lot of tools that you can use unconventionally, which I always really liked. Kind of just experimenting with the different ways that you can use even their stock stuff. There's a lot of creative possibilities outside of using things the way they're intended.
Yeah, no, I think, especially in like the Ableton Pro Tools, heck, even GarageBand, like anything involving like recording, you know, if you guys can get out there and just do it, if you love doing it, just get out there. But I know that Ableton, Pro Tools, there's some workforces, and I have to tell you, Ableton's gotten a lot of good talk, especially, honestly, even in the theater industry. A lot of people love Ableton. They love it. It seems to it's becoming definitely the workhorse, a workhorse. I think you're going to see a lot more out of Ableton. People are probably asking for a lot more, especially you can see some of this gear. I mean, what do you think of all the built-in plugins? I don't do a lot with Ableton, so my question is, just out of the box for Ableton. I know there's different versions of Ableton, but
right. I don't know if you can see my sidebar here very well.
It's a little smaller, but I think people can understand
it. Let's see. We can actually do this, maybe?
Zoom and display. Oh, perfect. Thank you. I'm sure everyone really appreciates that.
So Ableton comes packed with audio effects, MIDI effects. There's a few there, but this is definitely enough to do. It'll keep you busy for months and months if you learn all the little intricacies of them. But
sure.
Audio effects, they give you so much to start off with, and a lot of people are so hung up on third-party plugins, which, to be honest, it's kind of what I'm showing today. But
hey, you know what? Sometimes there's some gems, and I know you said that you have a pretty expensive one, but hey, you know what? You're pretty awesome, I would say. Definitely production-wise. You definitely know what the heck you're doing. I've heard some of your work, and I'm telling you, everyone, get on his page and check his work out. It is freaking awesome.
I should have some new stuff coming out soon, but I did drop something a few months ago. It was like a 8-track thing, but no self-promo here.
You can self-promote. Hey, everyone, self-promote. Hey, make sure you share all his stuff everywhere, okay? This is important. We're all about self-promotion here.
All right.
Let's see what you got.
So a couple of the favorites in audio effects for Ableton is, I actually have it in my I keep a channel down here of all my favorite plugins just so I have quick access to them, and I just have them turned off so they're not taking up processing power in the background.
That's very smart.
OTT is one of them. This is a Ableton stock plugin, and that is part of the multi-band dynamics section.
Okay, cool.
So that's a lot of it is for it's handy for when you're doing like electronic music and stuff. This really helps you kind of beef up the different you can change it to 3-band or 5-band, I believe.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
But 3-band has always worked well for me, and this is just kind of a little fluff adder for your, it adds a little compression, a little upward expansion at the same time, and it just kind of beefs up whatever you put on it.
It's good. Sweet.
They have some really good stock instruments too, actually. In the simpler, this is all sampled stuff, so
oh, neat.
Get some real instrument sounds in there, but they have a really nice sounding grand piano. I use it a lot. This is actually a sample of that, and I will.
Let's hear it. Yeah, show us.
This is the grand piano sound, and I have an effect rack down there and stuff too, which is off at the moment. We turn it on, and it adds a little more shine in there. I have a slow phaser going, and a stereo spread.
You know what? I have to tell you, Frankie, I'm definitely a sucker for phasers.
Yeah, I am too. And then, without this effect rack too, it gets a little drowned out in the mix, and then you kind of turn this on, and it kind of pops up nicely in there.
Yeah.
that's also, it's kind of assisted by this here. This is kind of the stronger lead line, and I have this slowly, I got a filter being modulated on here that kind of brings it in slowly over the build-up here, but
Sure.
That also has a similar effect rack on it with the same phaser doing the same, it's tempo synced, so.
I love it. Sounds awesome, actually.
Thank you. What else we got? Ooh, I wanted to show you Permutate.
Hold on.
That's one of my favorites.
Here we go. Oh, that's so much better. Okay.
So here I have a really obnoxious sound.
Okay. What's the obnoxious sound? Oh.
So that's without Permutate.
That's pretty cool. I actually like it. I think I could totally see some. You're in a club and all of a sudden you could just hear it. I could just see all the people. They're just like, "What is that one of the, what is that? Is that more of like a drop kind of thing? Like all of a sudden you're doing
yeah. So it's like this kind of leads into this here. Mixing and stuff though.
Yeah, that's cool.
This track still needs a lot of work. It's mostly I wanted to open it up because I got a lot of cool plugins on it. I wanted to do some demoing, but this is Permutate here. This is a Sonic Charge plugin, one of my favorites, and definitely an unconventional tool.
It definitely looks like something that you would use, like, you know, in a piano kind of situation. Is that kind of what that is? Or oh wait, it has a is there a little bit of a limiter? So there's compression on here, a little bit of.
There's a little bit of everything on the sidebar here,
yeah.
And then in here, you actually have no idea what the hell you're doing. It's one of those.
I'm sure one of those. You know what would be interesting? To get someone to actually like. You know, like, is that your name on there?
Yeah.
What? What is this, full customizable?
No, I think it's just because that's what I had the license under.
Okay, that's awesome. That's kind of a.
It's kind of a cool touch, yeah.
A little touch, little ring-a-ding-ding.
But this. Definitely an unconventional tool. Sonic Charge is kind of known for that with their microtonic drum machine and their Synplant synth, which I'm going to open up to in a minute and show you. But I feel like a lot more people don't know Permutate than know Synplant. Synplant became really popular for a while, especially among like future-based producers and stuff like that.
Cool.
But so yeah, in here you have this is your input level. You got a limiter there, filter,
sure.
Feedback. This is the mix for the dry wet for the whole plugin.
Okay.
This clock frequency.
Yeah, what is that?
It's kind of I would almost call this close to a phaser. The plugin as a whole, and this is almost like the phase speed.
Quarter tone.
Yeah, so right now it's
synced.
Tone. You can turn it off, and you can hear what it does to this sound here. Let me just play it. Turn this on. So this will phase it to a like synced.
Oh, I see.
And then you can, let me turn up the mix a little bit so you can hear
it. Okay, so it has a little bit of, okay, all right. Okay, so that's almost like a, well, I mean.
What would you describe that as?
I would consider that, so it pretty much takes like, think of like a cassette tape or a reel to reel. It almost
Right.
sounds like it's pulling the actual like the speed of the reel down.
Yeah, it does have a kind of a
But
tape sound to it.
but it almost sounds like it's doing that, but like obviously it's still showing. It's almost like pulses of like slowdown.
Yeah.
That's what I
So
think it is.
this is to do like risers and stuff for right before a drop. This is actually one of my favorite little tidbits here. Go to A1. It's called Infinite Climb.
Ah,
You set the mix to whatever you want there, and you
okay.
get something to. If you control the clock frequency, you modulate this over a time period, and then you can kind of like. You can like modulate this slowly over a time period and just get like really cool effects. With it doesn't work so great with this sound. It works really good with kind of like more static sounds like
Okay.
strings or horns, stuff like that, and make like it gives you like really. I know phase issues are bad, but it gives you really good, cool phase issues.
There's nothing wrong if you're putting phasing in. The only issue is when you start putting too much phasing, now you're phasing out things that you didn't actually want to. So
Yeah,
that's nice. I could see there's presets that you just set, and that's
yeah.
awesome.
There's a bunch of presets here. These are kind of just
Bubble memory, huh?
interesting starting points. Nyquist issues. That's a really cool one.
You know what that almost sounds like? Almost sounds like the. You ever watch see some of those Nintendo video games?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll hop off that one for a minute.
Love it.
It can be a lot after a while, and you won't really know what you're listening to anymore.
I don't know, Frankie. I may have to ask you if you could help me make some intro to all my shows.
Oh yeah, I would love that. I can make
Nothing,
intro music.
nothing huge. Just 10 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Go.
I'm sure people would appreciate it than me pulling some really crappy music that I just find free on the actual program. I don't do a lot with video, everyone. I'm learning, and I feel this whole
Doing a pretty good
industry.
job so far, eh?
Hey, you know what? This industry is all about learning. Now, I don't know everything. Frankie doesn't know everything. Well, Frankie, you know everything. It's okay.
No, I don't. I don't know everything.
we know not every person knows everything. We just can't. There's just too much technology, and this kind of production.
So damn quick.
I know, right? So this is why it's one of the reasons why I want to do this, because I want to have the talk, AV talk. Let's have a real discussion, and I'm very excited that Frankie wanted to, and we are going to have Frankie on here a lot more. I think Frankie is going to show some of his craft off, and hopefully get some other engineers. Looks like at least audio engineers, at least to get into a little more production work. And maybe become famous DJs because Frankie. And remember, everyone, if you become famous because of Frankie, you need to take him on a nice vacation to Disney World or wherever he wants to.
Coronavirus epidemic,
yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Disney World just announced they are going to stay closed till further notice. I think April 18th or something like that. But don't quote me on that. I don't remember the day exactly. Anyway, back to you.
Well, I was just going to show you that other plugin, the Sonic Charge plugin, Synplants, which I think anyone who knows Sonic Charge stuff, they're probably a little bit more familiar with this. Kind of like like a granular synthesizer, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
You can kind of grow your plant to change your sound.
Sure, it's not a.
It's FM.
That's so weird.
It's like a FM and a little granular.
What a fun way of of mixing.
Yeah, and then, if you do want to get complicated about it, you click on the little DNA button here, and there are all your parameters.
What? What is this, people? Is this science? What's going on here? This is total science. We all
This
know
is
it
total
is.
science. But everyone should love SynPlant. It's incredibly creative, and if you want overly complicated. But yeah, it's a good FM synth. The only thing I would complain about with this synth is routing options. There
Are none?
are few, close to none. But yeah, it's
Well, you know
as
what?
far as
Maybe.
routing oscillators between one another and stuff like that, it's not really that type of tool. You'd be better
Maybe.
off with like FM8.
Well, maybe we can get them to make a just a slight variation of this to do routing. Yeah, maybe I'll put a little bit of
I do think SynPlant 2 might be a thing by now, because I got SynPlant a while ago, but I haven't even looked it up in a while.
You never know. And not to mention, I mean, if I put this, I'll put this up, and then I'll just put their they'll tag them in there, and maybe they'll see this, and maybe you never know.
You never know.
You never know. What else you got for us?
I was just going to bring you back to this piano
Sure.
line real quick and show you a cool reverb I like. This is a free reverb, so everyone can go download it right now.
Oh, everyone. Where can you download this?
Just type in Protoverb by UHE.
Ooh, I love it.
And people can also, you can randomize your delay and reverb models here, and then copy this code and put it on the internet, and so other people can have your exact reverb. But you are basically, you can adjust the dry, wet, and decay time there. Those are the only controls. It's a very simple reverb.
Sometimes that's all you need.
It's not right for everything, obviously, but you can get some cool sounds here and there.
Do you think this would be more suited for maybe vocals?
Yeah, there's actually a couple presets on here. I've used this claustrophobic preset, which is probably one of my favorite presets on here.
Okay.
It's just a really close sounding reverb. I'll do it without real quick, and then I'll add it.
Sure. Let's hear what it sounds like.
Go without, and then with.
It's just enough. Yeah, it's just
enough. Yeah, and
it's
normally I'll bring the wet down on that a bit too, and maybe the decay time, but I really like that this particular preset and like adjusting the decay time with just making like the top end of some keys or something stand out like that. Because it's a lot of times when you add reverb to stuff, it kind of sounds watered down after a while, but this kind of makes it pop out a little bit more.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, that's Protoverb.
Looks like you have a nice was it one or two more up? Looks like at the bottom, or
that was just on a channel, but this is my little stack here of stuff that I like. So we hit permutate. This is trash, which I can try on here. So this is isotope trash. I feel like a lot of people know isotope for their mastering and mixing plugins, but not so much for effects plugins.
It's actually one of the things that I have. I have Ozone 5. That's what I use for my mastering. It's it's interesting. This one looks man, everything looks kind of similar in this. I mean, it looks actually more stripped down. Obviously, it's designed for options, but yeah, it definitely has definitely an Ozone look to it.
Yeah, it's definitely, a lot of their plugins have a very similar layout, and you got the buttons on here to basically go through your different stages, and that's how you're routed, basically.
Sure.
But one of my favorite things in here is to just use the trash module as distortion, or you have a lot of different distortion options in here. too many to count, too many to go through in a video this span. But the most interesting thing I think about this plugin is actually the convolve feature. So you can actually add your own audio file in there, choose from just lists of different kind of ways they describe sounds, and you can put a sound through this, and it'll give your sound the qualities of, you know, hollow or intimate, or
very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of, it just kind of adds different tones to sounds that you already have going. So we could try a few of those out real quick.
Yeah, let's check it out.
On my, there we go, switch it back to the, yeah, no, just so it's a little bit too overbearing on that synth. So we go to body, and we want to make this sound more intimate.
Okay.
More old school. Oh, it would help if I turned it on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not really hearing much. There we go. Oh, that's nice.
Old school, intimate.
I definitely like the old school. It's very like, it almost feels like, it definitely feels studio, like it's in a studio.
Yeah,
like,
I do kind of like that actually. Yeah, it gives it a little space, and you can
space, but it feels tight.
Yeah, it's nice. You can also change the kind of mic here. Let's see.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool. I won't dwell on that too much. But yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, go ahead. No, Frankie, these are really cool plugins, and I really appreciate you bringing our viewers into it, because I think it definitely opens a door, you know, for showing people some really cool plugins, especially plugins that you would normally not be able to, you know, right away be able to purchase, especially the more expensive ones. You're actually bringing it in. I would actually love if you could come on sometime again, and if you could, maybe we go through one plugin and we'll do like just individual plugins. I think that that would be awesome. The next time we come around, maybe we pick one plugin and you go through all the intimate details of that plugin. What's your thoughts? You like that?
Yeah, I like that. Maybe when this video goes out, we can, or maybe just make a request right now. Leave your comments in what plugins you want to see, or what specific area, whether it's like distortion, stereo imaging, just, I don't know, general post-processing, good kinds of EQs, compressors. We could do whatever people request for, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe we can do it where, you know, this will be a regular occasion, like one day a week or once a month, or however many you feel comfortable, obviously.
Yeah.
We can do definitely something like that, and people can look forward to it. What do you know, let us know, everyone. If there's something that you'd like, you're happy to let Frankie know, let me know, and we can try to put something together so you all are, you know, in on it. Okay? Cool. Frankie, thank you so much. It's been a really nice time. As I said, please go to The Mix is Almost Perfect. And Frankie, what was that? What was your website again?
Slytune. You can find me on SoundCloud, you know, Apple Music, Spotify, all of them. Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I don't have enough Instagram followers. Instagram.
Slytune. Yeah, I need to get my Instagram operating. Yeah. But anyway, no, thank you guys. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic day, okay?
You guys also have a fantastic day.